Mother and baby cling to life during code blue delivery. When Dr. Stephanie Martin heard the urgent code blue message over the hospital intercom, she rushed to the aid of 34-year-old Tracy Hermansdorfer, who was in labor, but not in a good way. Martin knew that a code blue message meant it was something serious, and it just happened to be Christmas Eve. It was lunchtime when the code blue came through. Dr. Martin rushed to the room of Hermansdorfer at the Memorial Hospital Center in Colorado Springs, where she was on shift. She was lucky to have arrived just in the nick of time, but quickly realized it may have been too late. Lunchtime. Most of the hospital staff were winding down as it was Christmas time, with a skeleton crew on staff on hand for emergencies. It was lunchtime on Christmas Eve when Martin was conferring with a patient in her office when suddenly the code blue came through on the intercom. Ballroom dancer. At the age of 42, Martin looks more like a ballerina in scrubs than the head of high-risk obstetrics at the hospital. In her spare time, Martin is a competitive ballroom dancer, and her physique and energy levels makes her an ace doctor to boot. When the code blue came in, Martin arrived at the emergency room within 2 minutes. Code blue. A code blue is an emergency announced in a hospital or medical facility whereby a patient in cardiopulmonary arrest requires the immediate assistance of a team of providers, often called a code team, who rush to the specific location of the patient to begin immediate resuscitative efforts. When Martin heard the person needing the help was in labor, she feared for the worst. Good health. When Hermansdorfer arrived at the hospital with her husband Mike, a long-haul truck driver, earlier in the day, she was in good health and expected a normal delivery for her baby. She'd given birth twice before and knew more or less what to expect once at the hospital. The mother-to-be and Mike were excited to be having a Christmas baby, and knowing he was a boy, they'd already decided on a name. Long day. Mike was playing the role of the perfect husband on that day, as he attended to his wife's every need and doted on her. Mike knew his wife was facing a long day ahead and wanted to offer her some words of comfort. Rest, close your eyes, Mike told her. It looks like you're going to have a long day. But nobody could have predicted what happened next. Previous experience. As she raced to the code blue emergency, Martin recalled the 4th of July 1997, which was the first time she worked as a physician in a maternity ward. On that day, Martin encountered a normal birth involving a 21-year-old woman, but things went wrong on that occasion. Amniotic fluid had escaped the placenta and entered the mother's bloodstream, causing an allergic reaction. Both the mother and baby died during that incident, and it left a deep and lasting impression on Martin. Emotional tailspin. Being that she was new at the job, despite all her years of training, the incident sent Martin into an emotional tailspin. She found herself depressed and bedridden for days at a time, and no one could talk her out of her mood. It took Martin weeks to recover from that, and she said to herself, "I can't give up. I have to find a solution," according to a Gazette report. Saving life. The nurse realized something was very wrong, and that's when she pulled the code blue cord in the room. Mike was ushered into a corridor where 2 chaplains were waiting for him. He rushed back into the room where his wife was, noticing she wasn't breathing and was in cardiac arrest. Mike prayed, hoping that his wife and son weren't dead. Many causes. Hermansdorfer's condition could have been caused by any number of factors. It could have been an amniotic embolism, an allergic reaction to the epidural. For that matter, it could have been down to a spontaneous irregular heartbeat or the placenta separating from the uterus. In such situations, protocol calls for the baby to be delivered before the mother is resuscitated. Improving chances. Through her years of experience, Martin knew that if there was any chance of saving the distressed mother, the fetus and placenta needed to be removed as soon as possible in order to take the strain off the mother's heart. As 2 teams worked to save the patients, one team working on Hermansdorfer and the other one standing ready to revive the baby, the atmosphere in the room was tangible. Fading heartbeat. When Martin noticed from the monitor that the baby's heartbeat was fading fast, she instructed medical staff to intubate the mother, forcing air into her lungs with a manual pump so the baby could get enough oxygen. Martin then planned to perform a C-section then and there and without hesitation. Vital functions. Martin immediately noticed that the baby's vital functions were depressed. The boy was pale and not moving. So the doctor handed him to the neonatologist, who took the baby to the warming table. The baby's nose and mouth were suctioned and artificial respiration was applied. The baby had been delivered inside just 5 minutes, but things weren't looking good. Tiny heartbeat. Martin was almost sure that the mother wouldn't make it, but was nicely surprised when she placed her finger on Hermansdorfer's aorta and felt a tiny heartbeat. "Let's get her to the operating room now," she shouted. As Hermansdorfer was rushed on a gurney to the OR, she passed by her husband, Mike. Martin instructed him to give her a kiss, knowing it may be the last one he ever gave her. Feeling proud. As soon as Mike had entered the room, his baby son was thrust into his arms by the nurse. The baby seemed lifeless to Mike, but he was simply exhausted from the ordeal he'd just been through. "He came alive in my arms," Mike said. He was then taken to the ICU with the baby to be reunited with his wife. Appreciating life. Having made a full recovery, Tracy Hermansdorfer loves her son and is thrilled that he was saved. She told reporters that the near-death experience had taught her a lesson in appreciating life to the full and enjoying her 3 children. To Mike's mind, the whole thing was a miracle, especially as doctors still have no idea what caused the emergency medical situation in the first place. Check out these other videos from Let Me Know. If you haven't made the move to subscribe to our channel, all you need to do is click on that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching.